Before I was rector of the university here, I was permanent secretary at the Department for Education, so I was very much involved in the design and introduction of foundation degrees. I think foundation degrees differ from BAs in that they do have more of a vocational bias. They are more practical. As one of the students was saying as I went round this morning, they are more hands-on. But they're also a true higher education experience. Employers can now see that foundation degrees are of a different quality, of a different level.
Some of our most interesting graduates go on and work in the film industry, so film titles. One of them from I think 2-3 years ago works with the designer called Kyle Cooper, who did the title sequences for film Seven. Last year some of the students, directly as a result of the end of year show, worked with Dorling and Kindersley, the book publishers.
Out of last year's FDA students, we've got one student on a full-time employment and one on a long-term contract here with us.
Well, I mean, I was very fortunate because I was involved with the magazine, and because we had sponsorship from DK, I got to meet Bryn and basically just built up a relationship with him. And from that, he then offered a placement, which I took, and I've just worked here ever since, really.
They sponsored our exhibition, so they Bryn and the other Peter, the other art director, come to the exhibition, and really, I suppose it's good for them as well because they can have first dibs on whoever they like.
The FDA had given both Matt and Vicky a really good grounding in the practical skills in terms of knowledge of how to use the Mac, the sort of various software packages in the Mac, which is. Okay, we can always teach our people that, but it's actually great if they can sort of hit the ground running and sort of actually contribute effectively to the team. They both proved to be excellent people. They were again full of ideas, full of dynamism and energy, and just the sort of people we wanted to get in at DK.
So it's very much focused on getting the students ready for industry. They're able to work as part of a team. They're able to come up with ideas. They've got practical skills, computer skills.
I think let's get the camera down and have it here looking like that.
Yep, there's a work placement as part of the degree, which is very beneficial because you sort of get to see what sort of part of the industry you might want to end up in, or even what part you don't want to end up in.
I think the work placement does help you to foster relationships. I mean, we don't want people to think that, well, inevitably if you have a work placement you're going to go on to work for that employer, but it is true that a lot of people go to work placements and then go on to work for the company at least in the initial years of their career.
The benefits of doing a work-based learning project is to help you to get more understanding of what it's like to work with a client outside, and to also have that confidence.
I'd say that in those weeks or months now that I've been doing work placement, I've learned so much more from being on the actual course. However, I wouldn't been able to do these placements if I hadn't been on the course.
And something that you will never read on the book or will never find somewhere else. Experience is experience. Work in an industry is work in an industry. It's not like reading.
They're monitored. There's an assessment process. They have to write a diary. It's a kind of fully integrated part of the programme.
The FDA Media Practice has a very strong link with the industry. We think it's very important that students have experience working in a wide range of media placements.
The FDA students that we've had here have been very good at very quickly getting the hang of what we're doing, being very flexible in what we ask them to do, and are very conscientious and professional in the way they approach it.
I started doing some work experience, and that happens in many work experience. You get into work in the place.
She's interested in the subjects that we're working on. She's shows a lot of initiative. You can give her something to do and she gets on and does it. She's able to film, to edit, to do sound.
Some of these courses we're talking about 35 students, 8 or 9 staying on for the third year of a degree, but the rest going straight into jobs with employers. They've got that choice, that's good, but employers like it.
Dan and Neil went over to Ireland to work on Nick Rogue's latest feature film.
Ryan, who graduated last year, works for a distribution company called Parasol.
Russell and Trina and Gary have set up their own independent company and are now getting fairly large budgets to produce top-end corporate films.
Gary Forrester, he now works in post-production and editing as actually an editor. He graduated a couple of years ago.
Millie's now working for quite a big casting agency.
Layla, who's a current first year, got paid to go as a camera assistant, as a camera trainee, which was a really brilliant opportunity.
The students come out of the 2-year programme, if you like, oven ready for the industry.
I feel prepared that I will be able to tackle any job in the digital media industry.
I know how to work a newspaper, I know how to handle a camera, I know how to make TV interviews, radio interviews.
If you're academic, you just did GCSE A-level and went to college, or you did a degree. If you were more interested in vocational subjects or craft subjects, there wasn't really a quality route for you. And that's partly because in this country we've never really valued vocational education. We're very conservative with a small c about education in this country. It's okay to go to university and do Egyptology. That's perfectly okay. But to go to university and do digital games, well, that's not really what universities were for. And that's a complete load of rubbish.
The FDA sort of lets you get on with learning to make films without all the paperworky sort of stuff. It's very, very hands-on.
It's not about sitting in a university studying, it's about learning the actual trade.
The whole relationship is a sort of two-way relationship. We get great students, the students come here and can get some great work experience and jobs as well.
For me personally, I wanted to get into the industry quick, and I think the FDA allowed me to do so.
I'm a practical person. I don't like wasting my time, so this is why I went to the FDA.
I've had several articles published already, one nationally too, and to kind of be at that stage so early, I think it says a great deal about the teaching and the encouragement that we all get. Yes.
You get a brief in the morning, you have to show IDs by the afternoon, and yeah, it just gets you working quicker and thinking quicker.
It's unique. I had a good look around before I came here, and there was nothing that goes in depth to the extent of the course that I'm doing here.
It was the best 2 years of my life, I think.
I can't speak too highly of the students who we've had in from the FDA. They're excellent students and excellent potential employees.
He's got me here, he's got me my dream, and all the word is got to go up from there, really, I think.